Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Devin Adams. I'm a Fortinet instructor here in Tempe, Arizona, and yeah, I've been building these. I've been recording these videos to build a topology so I can do my demos that I've been trying to do for the last like 3 months. Anyways, and like I was saying, I can't do that until this is built. So this is the I think it's the fourth video. So in the last one, we added these additional connections to the HQ FortiGates. All right, and this actually represents an SD-WAN, and maybe I'll do some graphics here a little bit later on to distinguish that. But essentially, they've all been configured. We confirmed that it was working. We also dropped a license on those FortiGates because I'm going to need the additional you know, power to not power, but the free VMs are limited in how many firewall policies you can do. And there's some limitations with the cryptographies. I just wanted to make sure it was registered. So, the people that take my course can actually see some of these demos in action. So before I can actually tackle those, we need to continue with this. And I usually say I want to keep these videos short, but I'm going to warn you guys right now, you should really stop watching if you want to, because this one's going to be long. Okay, and the reason why is because there's a handful of questions that I have that needs to be answered down the road that requires a Windows domain controller. So I need an Active Directory server, a domain controller, and I need to have security groups, and I need to have Windows machines for end users to answer some questions about domain registrations, SSL, VPNs, so on and so forth. So, yeah, in this video, it's going to be a little bit longer, and I'm going to pause it for the most part, just because watching Windows stuff install and updates like watching paint dry. But basically, we're going to drop a Windows domain or a Windows server in there, and then we're also going to do the Windows host machines. Now, these VMs, and that's our goal, by the way, and we're going to do nothing else with it. Um, but these VMs, by the way, if you come down here in the templates in GNS3, there are Windows servers and a Windows blank template here. Now, if you're running a version of GNS3 where you don't see all the templates, there's a wizard that's activated when you say a new appliance down here. But if we drag this over, all right, and I hit next, you're going to see that I already have Windows Server 2012 in here ready to go. Okay, so I've done that beforehand. But what you can do is you can go to the download page here, and it will redirect you to where to download the evaluation servers. All right, so as you can see here, okay, it's going to step you through which ones to get, and I believe it's actually going to be a virtual lab, or maybe it's the ISO. I can't even remember, to be honest with you. So what is it looking for here? It's looking for the ISO. So you hit ISO and then you'd follow the steps and you get the VM. So as you can see here, there's all these different ones. Okay, are they really up to 2019? Of course they are. It's been a while since I've done any of my sysadmin job roles, so it's been a minute. Anyways, and by the way, I'm probably gonna fudge through this quite a bit, but I'm gonna stick to what I at least know, and that is gonna be the 2012 that's already there and going. All right, but I just wanted to show you where you'd go to download that. And of course, these empty QCOW2 files, you can just download them right away from the GNS3 website. See how that just popped up right away? All right, so those are just blank QCOW2 files um, that act kind of like blank hard drives. So anyways, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna use the RT one that I already have. So, and also someone mentioned a comment earlier saying that the Windows 7 VM isn't available anymore. That doesn't surprise me now that I believe Windows 7 is end of life. But let's drag it and take a look. Now, I have the image already on there, all right? So, but I know for a fact that the older versions used to have like Vista in here too, and that's gone. So if you're missing the Windows 7, I'm just gonna try it just for giggles. I'm gonna hit the download button here and see if it works. All right, let's see here. Yeah, look at that. It's just Windows 10. Yeah. So, yep, guys, it looks like the Windows 7 is no longer there. Now, here's the thing, though. I am pretty darn sure that they're out there. Okay, so um, I am actually going to use the Windows 10 one just so the person who asked me about the question, they're running Windows 10. So that's why I'm picking Windows 10. Um, but obviously the older, I'm surprised 8's not there because isn't 8.1 still supported? Anyways, um, I'm kind of floored about that. Um, I wonder if there's a way to get older versions on here, but I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I'm not seeing it at all. So um, very interesting. So, but anyways, normally you get 90 days once you power these on, and they let you use them as long as you want to in a test environment. So they're not too bad. So, I guess you're right. Windows 7 is gone, but I'm pretty sure you could find a copy out there. How legitimate it is at that point, that's not up to me. I have no clue. So, but I know that for an example, a couple years ago, I found the Vista one laying around somewhere. But you gotta always be careful where you find these, of course. Anyways, but I'm gonna stick with the Windows 10 that I already have out there. All right, so that's what I'm gonna use for my host machines. Now, you got to be careful utilizing these things because they will take up a lot of your system resources on your GNS3. Now, I actually did a little bit of a cheat, and I did this just recently, but I actually have, if you guys look here, if I go over to my server summary, I have a machine called the Beast, and that's my host machine. That's my laptop that I'm running this on. And then here's the GNS3 VM that's actually doing all the hypervisor stuff. And then this beefcake right here is actually an Ubuntu box that's running Linux, and it is running GNS3. And what you end up doing is the VM, and obviously I'm not going to show how to do it here, but if anyone wants to see it, just let me know. But basically, you put the management side of GNS3 all on the same subnet, okay? And basically you can cluster these machines together. So I'm actually going to be running the Windows machines on my Beefcake server instead of on my laptop. Okay, so you can definitely not have too many Windows machines running without resource allocation, but I'll have to save that for another video, or I'm pretty sure someone else has done it out there. I read about it in some article somewhere on the internet. Tried it, not believing it would work, and it worked, so I rolled with it. So if you ever see RS behind one of my machines and one of my demos, it's just because I have it running on a remote server on my Linux box up here. So, but what's nice about it, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop in my domain controller. All right. And then I'm also going to drop in, I know it sounds like a lot. You know what? I'll actually just stick with 2 right now. But I'm going to drop my Windows 10 machine. So maybe 2 of them. All right. So um, there we go. Okay. And I'm going to power them on. All right. At least the domain controller, because the domain controller, I know for a fact, is going to be up here. And I'm going to have that with an IP address of 10.1.1.1. And I think that's appropriate because it's outside of the scope of the DHCP pool that I put in here. So when I first turn this on, it will get a IP address by DHCP, but it might take a while to boot. So that's why I want to just get it up and running. All right, here we go. And then once you turn that on, you get the 90 days, or maybe it's 180. I'm not too sure. So, but this is actually running on a different machine. So, and it does have a little bit more power than my gaming laptop, and that's why it's going to be just a little bit snappier. So, but we're going to let that do its thing, okay? And in the meantime, we got some work to do on the FortiGate. So basically, I'm going to have a sales PC1. Okay, so this is represent a machine that's on the sales team, and this is going to be something like marketing PC1. All right, so just to simulate two different departments. And we're going to pretend like these two different departments are on a different subnet. Okay, so I'm going to need two switches, so I have two different broadcast domains. All right. And did that say the beast? I did not want it on the beast. I want it on my VM. There we go. All right. Bloop. There we go. And then it's going to be port 6 is going to be sales, and port 7 is going to be marketing. All right. If you guys can visualize that. And the convention that I'm doing here is the first octet, the 10 is going to be across my entire network. The 1 is going to be for the top level stuff, okay? And if I have to go any deeper into my network, there's going to be like a .2, .3, .4. So this one right here, I'll just have a 10.1.2.0/24, all right? And then for this one, I'm just going to do a 10.1.3.0/24. And these are just labels for right now. They're not really doing anything until we configure it on the firewall itself, all right? So but these VMs are going to be using DHCP from the get-go, so we are going to make sure that he gets an IP address. So let's go ahead and do that real quickly. So I'm going to go to my management PC, all right, and I'm going to set those two up, okay? So I'm going to go to network, I'm going to go to interfaces, and it was port 6 was sales, so I'm literally going to open this up. I'm going to go to port 6, okay? And I'll say sales so I can read the alias there. And then I'll have a 10.1.2 with 254 with the /24. And I'll just do ping access for testing connectivity. So I don't necessarily need any admin access. That's why we have it isolated off, right? But I am going to turn on a DHCP server, okay, to pass out IP addresses. And I'm just going to start with 10, and we don't need the full range here because we're not going to have that many in our test environment, but I'm going to say 20, all right? And everything else looks fine, okay? But I am going to do device detection, so that way the MAC addresses appear in my log files and my FortiView, and we get a little bit more visibility of what devices are connected to that switch. So other than that, that looks good, so I'm going to hit OK. And then for the marketing team, which will have port 7, okay, so I'll just say marketing. And this one will be 10.1.3.254 with /24. Give it a little pang pang action. Pang pang, whatever. All right, there we go. Like I said, we'll begin with the 0. And we'll just do 20 as our range. All right, so, and then once again, some device detection, and we should be good to go there. Now, when I write my firewall rules, okay, just for the sake of doing it to do it, all right, I'm going to put those in a zone, and I'm going to have that like as a internal zone. And if I ever need to reference the marketing department or the sales department individually, I can set a different source IP address subnets. But for just simplicity reasons, I'm going to zone them together, and just for the demo of having a zone done. All right, so I am going to, let's see here, I'm going to create a new zone. All right, and I'm going to call this internal production or something like that. Okay, and its members are going to be, let's see here, it's going to be sales and marketing. All right. So, and then if we want to block interzone traffic, we can leave that off. If we want them to be able to talk to each other, we can turn it on. But once you do zone them together, I mean, they kind of lose their ability to reference them separately. So I might have to unzone them later, but I can't visualize that being a reason, because we're going to pretend like these two departments, even though they are considered an internal zone, they are not natively talking with one another. So let's go ahead and hit OK. All right. And this way, when we're writing our firewall policy, we can just come down here. All right, go to policy and objects, IP4 policy. And we can essentially do a create new. And I'll call this production internet access using camel casing there or something. And then I'll say our internal production going out to our SD-WAN, all right, as our source. Now here I have a management subnet that's a /24, okay? So I should make the individual addresses, which I will, why not, right? It's not a big deal. I'll just say sales is going to be 10, 1, 2, 0/24, right? If I ever need it for static routing. And I should have actually changed that green, and I did green for a reason, so I have a visual representation of internal addresses. You don't have to do that, but it just makes finding them a lot easier. All right, so, and this will be marketing, all right? And I'll change that to green, and now we'll have a subnet of 10, 1, 3/0/24, all right? And now I can add both of those together as a source. And then destination, the internet's a big place, okay? And services, just for simplicity, I'll say all services, all right? Yes, they need NAT, and now we're good to go, okay? So technically speaking, we should be able, in theory, to power on these two machines and have internet access out that firewall rule. All right, so we're gonna have to write a separate rule later on for the domain controller, but we'll cross that bridge when it happens. All right, so but let's go ahead and power on these two machines. Now, normally I start them up one at a time, just because I am using them on a remote server there. I'm just gonna risk it, because while these are posting, did that work? While these are posting, I am going to work on the domain controller. So here we go. All right, I'm going to accept the license. My super duper password, which is going to be p@ssw0rd exclamation points. Pretty secure. Wonka, wonka, wonka. All right, so here we go. p@ssw0rd exclamation. Yay. Okay, so, and if I remember right, that was actually the IP or the password for the Windows ones too. And I meant to copy that. Do I still have it in my history here? See how it found an IP address? Isn't that slick or what? Yeah. Anyways, let me see if I have that in my history. Nope, I don't. Dang it. I'm gonna have to look up what the VM passwords are for these bad boys when I join them to the domain. So no big deal, no big deal at all. So all right, let's go ahead and finish up that domain controller. So I'll say local server. Okay, we'll give it a new computer name. Here we go. We'll call it DC1. All right. I know we must reboot. And I'll actually do that. I'll do that later. So here we go for the firewall policy. Now I am purposely leaving this off just for our lab environment. All right, because obviously this isn't a sysadmin Windows Server class. Okay, that's the only reason why I'm turning that off. Let me make sure that turned off. Okay. All right, so here we go. And now the IP address, we don't want to do DHCP, obviously. So we're going to pick that IP address that's outside of the scope, which is going to be 1.1.1. All right. Here we go. 255. Oh, stop. 255. 255. 255. 0. And then the FortiGate as the default gateway. All right. And then I'll just borrow Google's DNS and maybe use, I don't know, Cloudflare's. I think that's Cloudflare's. All right. So now we have a static IP address, which we want. So let's do a couple of other things. What else do we got here? Not participating. If we ever want to use uh, IE or to browse the web, we'll just turn that off. Now, technically speaking, I'll probably let the Windows update overnight just to stay up and up to date, but whatever. All right. Let's go ahead and take care of this time zone though. All right. Now, the easiest way to change this is before you make it a domain controller. Okay. And if you notice here, we can have internet time. All right. And right now it's pointed to the time.windows.com. Just to keep everything nice and in sync with my log files, I am actually going to pop over to the FortiGate, and I'm going to go to my system. All right, and I'm actually going to use the FortiGate as my NTP server, and that way I know that the domain controller will be in sync with the FortiGate, and then the host machines will sync with the domain controller to keep everyone on the right time. I know that's probably overkill, but I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it. So here we go. We're going to say set up as a local NTP server. Okay, so we're going to be listening on port 5, which is going to be our management. And now it will actually participate in NTP. So there we go. And then we come back to our domain controller. All right. And I'm just going to do 10.1.1.254. Hit update now. All right. And I'll just let it do its thing. An error occurred. Sure. Why not? It'll work, I promise. So eventually, I do want to change the time zone though. Here we go. My bad. Because we are in. No, we're not there. We're in Arizona. There we go. All right. And I promise you that will eventually update itself. So I did do the right IP address, right? 254. There we go. Yay! Okay. Now you guys know what time of night I'm doing this at. So here we are. And now the FortiGate and our domain controller will be on the same time. Yay. Okay, whatever. All right, cool. So all is right with the world there. Bloop. What else do we need, guys? Let's see. You know what? I think that is it for right now. So just for the sake of completeness, I'm going to go ahead and do a reboot. All right, so the name updates itself. And then let's take a look on these bad boys to see what's happening. So as you can see, this is up and running. We're not going to join this to the domain though, because we don't have a domain. So I think the password is p@ssw0rd. Nope. See, I don't know. So I'm actually going to come in here. I'm going to go back to my Windows install. I know that's embarrassing. I just can't remember what it is. All right, we'll hit next. We'll hit next. And then I'll hit the whole download now. And I think on the front, there we go. Let me just copy this over. Here we go. All right. So for our Windows machines there, I now know what the password is. So here we are. So now I'm just going to do the capital PASSW0RD with a bang at the end of it. And here's the thing about Windows 10, and you guys probably know this already. It takes a while to settle. Like it'll reach out there and it'll do its thing. But as you can tell, we are connected to the internet. All right. So, I mean, that is pretty cool there. So once we have the domain controller, we can join this to the domain, but of course we need to set up the domain controller first. And like I said, guys, there's nothing short about this video. All right. So anyways, I looked over and it's like 25 minutes, so I apologize. So, but there you go. There's one machine. Let's get the marketing machine up and going. All right. Here we are. Okay. So capital PASSW0RD buying. And I'm just going to let these settle. So I'm going to just let these run in the background. All right. So in the meantime, hopefully my domain controller is now up and I can start that process. So here we go. All right. So let's go ahead and log in. p@ssw0rd exclamation. There we are. All right. And now I actually have to make this a domain controller. So let's see if I remember how to do this. So we're going to go over to tools. No, we're not. We're going to go to manage, add roles and features. We're going to hit next. We're going to hit next. We only have one. And then we're going to do Active Directory domain services. All right, there we go. We'll hit next. Sure, why not? Why not? Restart if you need to. Sure. All right, and it's going to do its pre-check validations here. So cool. All right. Let's go ahead and let that do its thing. In the meantime, I'm going to write a firewall rule, all right, that does a couple of different things here. So here we go. For starters, I'm going to go to firewall, IP4 policies, okay, and I'm going to create a firewall policy that says management. How do you spell management? I'll actually just abbreviate it. Management to production access. All right. So this is saying if it's coming from management, okay. Oh, I forgot my G there. Stick with the naming convention. And it's going over to my production network. I'm gonna just let it do its thing. All right. So there we go. In destination, I'll add these two. Okay. And I'll give it free reign if it wants to reach out and talk to it. All right. So there it is. Okay. Now I'm going to do the opposite there. I'm going to create a new one. Okay. And now, depending on how strict you want to be in your security, you can open up just the ports needed for it to reach out to the domain controller or to reach out to whatever services you have up there in the management pane. All right. So that includes any other servers that you might have. But here I'm just going to say production to management access. And you can be as specific as you want. You know what, guys? For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to keep it simple. All right. But source is going to be coming to these two bad boys. Okay. And then destination, I could just, you know what? Why not? I'm just going to do my domain controller. Why not, right? So I'll say DC1. And here I'll just do a subnet. Why not? I'll just say 10.1.1.1/32. Okay, so that way it can just talk to the domain controller. And maybe I'll paint my domain controllers, I don't know, purple. Why not? Here we go. So that way it doesn't try to act. My peeps at production shouldn't be trying to access anything else. Okay, so all right, there we go. And you do not need natting internally. And thank you, Devin, for reminding me, Devin. I don't need nat turned on the other direction this way. So no reason to. Bloop. There we go. All right. That way it's able to find the domain controller and join it when it's time to actually join the machines to the domain. So okay, let's go back to the domain controller and it's doing its thing. Here we go. We got the exclamation. All right. So let's go ahead and promote this to a DC. We're going to go ahead and say it's a new forest. All right. And I actually own the domain itninjasupport.com. So that's why I always use IT Ninja. but here I'll say .lab. So, and then we'll hit next. And then it's going to do its thing. Sure, why not? And then this is the password if we ever need to access it outside of the domain controller in offline mode. So, all right, here we go. No one look at my password like I care. All right, DNS. There we go. Name, NetBIOS, domain name, the flat traditional should just be IT Ninja. Oh, come on. There you go. All right, fine. Paths, I'll keep the same. There we are. There we go. It'll do the Rex, and then it'll do the install, and that might take a minute. So, all right. Boom, 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 boom. It does go faster if you do a little beat. No, it doesn't. All right, here we go. So install, and then we're gonna let it do its magic. Now it will take a minute, and then it reboots, and then after that we have to make our security groups, and we have to do all that jazz. Honestly, guys, I might just leave it there for tonight because I can let the what you call it, I can let the computers just kind of update in the background, okay? But in my next video, because you know what, this is going way too long. It's been 30 minutes. In my next video, though, we will do just that. We'll create the security groups and a couple of users for our IT team, all right? And then after that, we'll be ready to move on. And the next step after that, if you guys are interested, we're going to do a branch office. So, and we're going to go from there. And then after we have the branch office, the domain controller, we should be ready to rock and roll. And then, like I said, there's just going to be a whole bunch of things I want to demo, things I want to try out for people who've asked it, who've taken my class. And I am so sorry it's taken so long. So, to get that done. Uh, anyways, but all right, guys. So I'll probably see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Have a good night, and I'll check you guys out then. All right.